Hey, this is Khalid Nathan Alim, the real estate boy, and welcome to the Social Media for Real Estate Agents podcast. Today we have from Chicago, we have Rashonda Scott. Welcome to the podcast, Rashonda.
Hi, hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Now, why do we have Rashonda on the podcast? First of all, on Property Spark's list of top 100 Instagram realtors, she was ranked number 32. That's the first thing. If you go to her Instagram, she has over 63,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Her average post gets 623 likes. On Twitter, she has over 4,000 followers. I don't even know. I don't even know how to use Twitter. And her YouTube has over 1,000 subscribers, and she's the founder of Flipping in Heels, and she's also a broker, man. Thanks for your time. I know you're crazy busy.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. I love that you have a platform that specifically talks about, leveraging social media to grow your brand and your business. So let's get right into it.
Yes, yes, yes. We always like to start to find out, get in people's business, see what they were doing prior to real estate. So, what were you doing?
Uh Prior to real estate, I was in school. I was working,
Okay.
just like part-time jobs and stuff. And I was in school. So I actually got started in real estate very early on and knew that I wanted to get into real estate. So any job that
Okay.
I did was not really like career specific or career related, more so just, different customer service jobs to, get by and pay the bills while I figured out this real estate thing on the side.
Right. Now, did somebody influence you? Because a lot of times somebody may, people, I tend to find people who start off in real estate, not like me. This was like a second career for me, but people who usually start off in real estate, they may have father, uncle, or somebody that was in real estate. Was that like that for you?
So I had a mentor at the time who had some experience in real estate and taught me a little bit about real estate. I also had someone else who gifted me the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
So I, read that book very early on, and my eyes were opened even more to real estate. So it was a combination of both of those, I would say, probably when I was somewhere between like 17 and 19, maybe somewhere between there, 17, 18, 19. And then in that, I was like, I knew I wanted to do real estate.
And that's funny because my dad actually gave me Rich Dad Poor Dad, the Black Choice, when I was like 17. I don't know if you ever heard of this book. Um,
Mm-mm. No, I
yeah,
haven't. I've heard of Think and Grow Rich, a black choice, but I didn't know there was a black version
no.
of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Is it? It might have been thinking of Rich. You might be right. You might be right. You might be right. I might be mixing them up. But what I wanted to say was that my dad gave that to me when I was like 7 or 18, and I read it, but I just didn't understand it. You know what I mean? Like it couldn't. I guess I wasn't mature enough. Um, but I had to come back to it when I was like 30, and then I
Mhm.
understood it. So now, did you major in real estate in college?
No, they didn't have real estate as a major where I attended. So I just did
Okay.
business. Yeah, business
Okay. Okay.
admin, business marketing, business management,
Okay.
and
And then
entrepreneurship.
entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Okay. So then fresh out of you did that, and then coming right out of school, did you hop into real estate, or you had a couple of 9 to 5s before jumping into real estate after graduation?
Yeah, no, no, no. So I definitely had some 9 to 5. So even before graduating real estate, I mean before graduating like undergrad, I
Mhm.
went and I actually got licensed probably when I was like 20 or 21 or something like that. I got licensed and I was only doing leasing. So I learned the leasing side of real estate. And I had
Okay.
joined a team, with a real estate broker who was doing a lot in sales, and I was really more so passionate about like the investing side of real estate, but I couldn't
Okay.
figure it out, by being young and not having a lot of money. Like it seemed like, to be an investor, you had to have all this money and that whole thing. So I was
Mhm.
just trying to figure it out. And I was like, well, let me at least get my license, and that'll help me get my feet wet. I can start understanding like, contract law and things like that. And it just seemed like the easiest thing to do, at that time. So I went ahead and did that. I got licensed, and then I did leasing for about a year. And I was like, this is stupid. Like, I'm not making a lot of money. I'm working a lot, driving all over the
Right.
place. And I was working and I was in school. So
Oh,
it
wow.
just wasn't, so I went and found this real estate investing like guru program. I put $20,000 on a credit card. I didn't even know I could get
Oh,
approved for
wow.
$20,000, but they actually have a funny way of helping you boost your approval so you can afford their programs, right?
Right,
And
approving
so I did
everybody.
exactly. So I did that, and I learned a lot about the language of real estate, real estate
Right.
investing. But I still was not, just figuring it out. I still wasn't investing like I wanted to. But
Mhm.
fast forward from there, I, joined, had a couple of business partners, some that worked out, some that didn't work out.
Okay.
And then went back and got my broker's license in 2017, because I was like, well, let me just go back and get my actual sales license now. I tried the lease and wasn't crazy about it. Let me get my sales license, and that'll help me in the investing world, and that will and then I could just help out like friends and family, right? It was never my intention to be a top producing realtor. But like you said, leveraging my education, my skills, my background, and now my
Mhm.
license, coupled with I had already started building on social media, it was like,
Mhm.
the two of those together, just helped. Well, I guess you can say created, who I am today.
Gotcha. Now, question, because when you were doing leasing, you were a realtor, correct?
Yes,
So then and what year was that? What a year
that
did you
was
actually start?
2013.
Okay, 2013. So we're 2013, you're doing leasing. 2017, you decide to become a broker,
Yep.
um, which is a big step. So I guess that you just do it because what it sounds like is that you did it for the learning aspect, so you can get a better
Mhm.
handle on the business. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I did it because yes, from the investing aspect, absolutely. To just and people were contacting me because I did that, for 2013 to 14. That was it. But from 14 to 16, I was a part of this investing program. And so people
Okay.
would see me out, I was using social media showing that I'm at, this property walkthrough or this seminar or this workshop or, whatever the case. So people would start
Mhm.
contacting me about real estate needs, right? And because I
Okay.
wasn't licensed, I couldn't service them. I had to refer them out. So there was that too, like, okay, well, people are already contacting me because the consumer doesn't know the difference, right? They don't know if you're an
Right.
investor, if you're a realtor. They just see you out doing real estate stuff. And so,
Right.
they were reaching out to me for their real estate needs, and I couldn't service them. But yeah, that's what I was doing. So I did leasing, and then I, was a part of this investing program, and then started doing some small things in investing, and then decided to go back and get my sales license, again, to help myself out as an investor and to help like family and friends. And then it just blew up into a lot of people reaching out to me, because I was speaking their language. So
Okay.
my social media, my niche was a lot of just like investing in real estate, right? Like I wasn't speaking to the traditional home buyer, or like, you want to buy a single family and things like that. Like I was
Mhm.
focused on multi units and like investing from the beginning.
Wow, wow. And did flipping in heels come out of that?
So flipping in heels came out of me just being a woman, trying to figure out and navigate the investing space, noticing that it was a very male dominated industry, and
Mhm.
wanting to really see more women that I could, look up to in this space, because I didn't see her, I couldn't find her. But
Okay.
thankfully, to social media now, I'm connecting with so many amazing women who are absolutely killing it, across the country, around the world in real estate, right? And doing so many different aspects of investing. But when I first started, it came out of, again, like I said, just looking for like, who is that one person? Like, we can rattle off names like, Don Peebles, and all these other
Mhm.
names of like top investors, and black investors too, right? We can
Mhm.
rattle off like a number of different names of people who are, who people can look up to and learn from. And I just didn't see that, and I didn't see that representation at the time when I was looking for her, years ago.
Okay, back in 2017.
Or even before
Okay.
then. I mean, I can't remember when Flipping the Hill. I think I probably officially made Flipping the Hills a business in like maybe 2018, that might have been.
Mhm.
But even before then, it was still that want, that need, that desire. It was still kind of looking for that. And then and Flipping the Hills was an idea as well before actually, legalizing it.
Okay, totally understand. Um, what does your business look like now? I know you're a
Mhm.
team leader also, but what does your business look like now? Is it more buying and selling, or investors, or
Yeah, so definitely, I am more buyers than sellers. I've built my
Mhm.
brand off of just helping a lot of buyers. A lot of people came to me because of my experience and my knowledge and my expertise in investing, right? Investing really got hot over the last couple of years. Like real estate investing, like it just seemed like it was the thing to do. Everybody's like, oh, I want to invest, I want to buy
Right,
property. Everybody.
right.
And so, I became a go-to, industry leader, I would say, in my area, because of, that, because I was at the same time educating people and utilizing social media to do just that, right? Educating people, educating buyers, educating whoever, was watching, right, about different programs, this, that, whatever the case. And so naturally, you attract, um, you know, buyers, when you're putting information out there that helps them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say my business is majority buyers, but I definitely work with seller clients as well. And we do all ends of, the spectrum as well. I like you mentioned, I am a team lead. I do have 5 agents that I work with, and we cover the entire city, and we and the outskirts of the city as well, the suburban limits. But we take on all clients too. We
Mhm.
are mostly residential, but we definitely have commercial multifamily experience as well, because again, that's in the investing space as well. So we definitely have commercial residential clients.
Gotcha. Question: when people say, or when brokers or real estate agents, when they say that they not cater to, but they help investors, I always want to ask them the question. Okay, you have a lot of first time investors, are they're needy. Okay, because this is the first time that they've invested. So if I'm a first time investor and I want a house around $40,000, and I come to you, and I want to buy and hold. I don't want to flip. I want to buy and hold. um, how would you cultivate that person? I'm just asking you personally. Or would
Uh,
you send that person to somebody else?
I mean, so the first thing that I'm gonna ask, well, first of all, we don't have a lot of houses at $40,000, and if they are
Okay.
$40,000, then they're gonna need a lot of work, right? So that's the first
Okay.
question. There is like, okay, what level of rehab are you open to, right? Because if you say, I want $40,000 and it's turnkey, like that's, it's just not possible. It's not the market for that, right? You should probably consider another
Okay.
market. But or if
Okay.
you're like, oh, $40,000 and I only want to do cosmetic rehab, still, not the market for that either. But again,
Right.
if we are happen to find anything under, I would say 60, 80, or even under $100,000, more than likely it's going to need a complete rehab. So that's the first thing
Mm.
that we're going to talk about is what level of rehab do you have experience at, or what level of rehab are you open to? So that's the first thing. And then the next thing is that we'll talk about, the financing and the plan to get it done, right? Is this going to be cash, or are you doing a rehab loan? Are you already approved? Are you already ready to go? The next thing that I'm going to ask is, in regards to your crew, right? Because I feel like a lot of people may try to lean on their realtor, for that, right?
Right.
But contractors is such a um difficult thing to get together, in all honesty, right? Like, I've done projects, rehabs, flips, and sometimes, you have some contractors that go from one project to the next. Sometimes you have sometimes you may need to bring on a whole new crew, right? For whatever
Right.
reason. And so I always tell clients, like, I don't like to recommend contractors. Like, I encourage you to go and get your own. And
Right.
should you need a second, third, fourth opinion and things like that, then we can talk about some of that, right? I have experience as well, so I'm able to give my opinion, right, on things. Or if it's just like a tradesperson that they need, right? Maybe they only need an electrician or a plumber or something like that. I'm comfortable with recommending like subs, those type of people. But like your GC to run your entire project, and I don't feel comfortable um recommending that, but I do give them like some good resources where they can go and find people.
No, I'm the same way. I'm trying to give somebody a GC because, as you know, these contractors, they're like project to project. So they go to one project, but then they go to the next project, and it's like, is this the same person? So, so I definitely understand that, and just like you, I'm comfortable with giving you a sub here and a sub there, and I can give you recommendations, but to just give you somebody flat out and say, no, trust this person.
Right.
No, we're not doing that.
Right.
So let, let's jump into your social media presence. So, is this something where you were popping on social media before real estate and you just transitioned over, or is this something that you, once you got into the business, you kind of studied? Okay, this is what you need to do to pop on social media.
um so it's funny you say pop it on social media. So my brand grew just as my business grew. So it was not like I was, like you say, popping on social media in another realm or aspect or industry. I will say,
Personally.
before I niched down into real estate, I was doing more
Mhm.
so like just financial literacy, coaching, budgeting, teaching, in that aspect. That was definitely a passion of mine in the beginning as well. Because
Okay.
financial literacy and obviously personal finances is important, and a good segue into real estate, as
Mhm.
well.
Right.
But I struggled with what they call it, imposter syndrome, right, at the beginning of my journey. And I share this because I feel like so many people do. And so many people let that hinder them from getting started on social media. So I didn't necessarily start getting like tailoring my content only and specifically towards real estate because I was like, I was still trying to figure it out myself, right? So I
Mhm.
was just documenting my journey and my process, and sharing that. But I didn't want to get too much into like niching down into real estate because again, I was still trying to figure it out. But
Mhm.
I made that shift and was just like, well, let me just document and, like I said, share my journey and share my story.
Mhm.
Perception is reality. How people perceive it is, is it's whatever, right? You can't let people's thoughts or, your fears of what other people would think or say, whatever, stop you from
Mhm.
again, sharing your story. And that's really, all it was and all I was doing. And as I just did just that, my like I said, my page grew, right? Because I was providing value, to the people who was following me. People felt as though like they were getting something from interacting with my page, right? And so
Mhm.
that was the point, right? Not just to, like I said, be popping on social media, but it all grew, relatively at the same time. And now about 80, I would say about 80 to 85% of my clients actually come through social media.
Oh wow, wow! I was going to ask you. I mean, to kind of get the 63,000 subscribers, um, that's a crazy accomplishment. How do you think you got to that point? Or I shouldn't say that. What do you think the key ingredient is for you as far as to get to that point where social media, where 63,000 people clicked on that follow button on Instagram?
I tell everybody content and consistency, right? So
Mm,
continuing to put out content that speaks directly to, who you're trying to attract. So being very intentional with the type of content that you're putting out and being consistent with it, right? Continuing to show up, continuing to educate, continuing to, just stay relevant.
mhm.
Really is the secret sauce. A lot of people are like, oh, what's the secret to growing?
Right,
And there
right.
really is no secret, but if there were a secret, that would just be it. Like continuing to show up and continuing to be intentional with what you're putting out, because it doesn't even matter about the number of followers, right? You can have
Mhm.
63,000 followers and none of those followers are converting, right? Nobody's messaging you or reaching out to you to do business. Then the follower count really doesn't matter, right? Because at the end of the day, like you don't just live off of how many followers you have, right? But
Right, right.
but what are you doing with that? Is that converting? Are you able to actually help people, and provide a service? So yeah, that's definitely been the focus.
And that's my next question. As far as, okay, you have these 23 followers, how are you converting them into people to make your phone ring? Is there some
Yeah.
type of system that you have?
Yeah, I mean, you always have a call to action, right? So, like I said, in
Okay.
regards to being intentional with the type of content that you put out, what's the call to action? So, I remember I put out a post around veterans and was very specific about who I was talking to. And then, the next
Mhm,
couple of consultations were veterans, right? So, it was people that clicked the link in my bio. And so, usually that is the call to action is, click the link in my bio to schedule a call with me. So yeah, the system, that's set up is a basic scheduler. And it comes through, there's a questionnaire on there.
mhm.
And then it comes through on the calendar and Zoom link is created and that whole thing. But yeah, there's always almost always, my page is a mix of business and lifestyle. It's not all only
Okay.
real estate or all only business, and that's intentional as well, because I want it to be me, right? I want
Mhm,
people to see that I'm a real relatable person. I'm authentic with who I am and how I show up, and I tell people to do that and show that, right? Because people want to work with people that they can relate
right.
to. Um, but yeah, so to answer your question, the conversion comes because I'm telling people what to do next, right? Like you read this post, you got this good information. If you have any additional questions or, if you're ready to buy or sell, click the link in my bio.
Mhm. Right, and I don't want people to miss over that, is that a call to action is when you're calling that viewer to do something, and you need to
Mhm.
tell them specifically what to do. Um,
Mhm.
a lot a lot of times, okay, Bill. Yeah, a lot of times, people will look at it, and if you don't tell them exactly what to do, then they won't do anything, and they'll
Mhm.
just keep scrolling and go to the next one. Um, Technical wise, what are you doing? Are you still just shooting with your phone? Do you have a camera? Have you graduated to having a camera? How does that look as far as your production process? Also,
Nope, tech is straight up iPhone for the most
right.
part. I've definitely done a number of photo shoots here and there. So, that'll be professional content. Anytime there's content produced from there. But oftentimes, a good old iPhone will do the trick.
Okay.
So yeah, it's actually funny that you mentioned that because I was actually considering upgrading, like you said, some video content, but not for
Okay.
me specifically. I am not tech. I mean, it took me 2 hours to figure out how to do my first reel. Now, granted, I've gotten quicker now, but just like production and editing is not my skill set.
Mhm.
So even if it's a matter of me like shooting, and I have assistants on the brand side who, we've had content days where we've shot, a number of videos or, film or reels or, or photos or whatever the case, for content. And
Mhm.
usually that's a mix of phone and camera. So it really just depends. But yeah, no, I would say overall, yeah, I'm a straight up iPhone user.
Oh, iPhone and shoot. Are you using a external microphone, or are you just a microphone that's in the iPhone?
Yeah, yeah, just what's in my iPhone. I mean, I'm not doing a ton of I don't do it, I don't do a ton of content like that. Like where people are
Hmm.
like you said, like speaking and walking, I guess, and doing like that whole thing. Like if I'm doing an
Hmm.
actual video or like actual production, and yeah, I'll hire a crew or a team for that. For if I'm doing like a property tour or something
Hmm.
like that, like launching a big listing, then yeah, I would definitely
Hmm.
hire the professionals for that. But other than that, the majority of my content is whether it's a combination of pictures, videos, reels, or the property, right? I'm highlighting the property and the real estate. So I'm not doing like a lot of speaking in that, right? It might be highlighting a specific client who utilized this program and did XYZ. It's definitely a combination of things, but I'm not doing a ton of content where I'm like, okay, I need, a videographer, or I need somebody to follow me around all day,
Hmm.
to produce this type of content.
Gotcha. Well, this I want to say it like this, because Instagram is probably my worst platform,
Mhm.
and I'm on there and I'm putting out content, and it just doesn't seem. I feel like my reach is better with TikTok. Have you been transferring your reels from Instagram to TikTok? And if so, have you seen the same type of engagement?
No, I haven't done TikTok at all. So
Oh wow.
yeah, that's an underutilized platform for me. That would really just be me hiring somebody else to run that, because we're talking about like social media, right? Which is a big undertaking in itself. But until
Hmm.
you focus the energy, across, like you said, all these different platforms, you also still need to make sure you're making time to actually run, do business, right? And run your business. So no, I'm not even on TikTok. I don't even know if I have an account. I might have an account, only because I think, like, to watch some videos, people have sent me stuff in the past, and I might have had to
Right.
create an account to watch something.
Right.
But no, that's something that I just, yeah, I don't spend a lot of time on like a platform like TikTok. Like I think I might have been on there for like a day or two.
Okay.
And it was just like, it's just so much. It forces you to consume so much, right?
Mm,
And I just believe that as a creator, you should be focused on consuming less and creating more. And I
right.
think it's easy to like go down a rabbit hole, right? Like on platforms like that, and even Instagram. Like there's sometimes where I literally need a break, and I just take the whole app off my phone. As soon as I log back in, everything is still there. But I
Okay.
take breaks for sure, and I believe that, I don't know, TikTok is just one of those, because it doesn't even, it literally just plays video after video, and it just keeps on going. And before you know it, you 2 hours in and you don't watch the
Right.
whole movie like on TikTok. So,
Facts.
yeah, that's one of the reasons why I just have not really, converted over to that platform. However, I definitely believe in the use of it for sure.
Hmm.
People
Hmm.
are blowing up, on any platform, right? So I don't think it matters what platform you choose, but definitely utilize social media, period. So I don't care what it is: TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Um,
Hmm.
but it is 100% free marketing, right? And so
Right.
I tell, real estate agents, like, I mean, you can go and spend $3,000 on leads every single month if you want to, or
Right.
you can figure out how to create content and be consistent on social media, and generate leads through there. The choice is yours.
Now, are you using any social media tools like a vidIQ or a TubeBuddy or something like that? Are you using any type
So
of
my team,
tool?
we use Asana to plan out our
Okay.
content. So my assistant, gathers content on a weekly basis, and I review everything. We have a weekly meeting. I review everything, before it's posted. So Asana is like a project management tool as well. It helps you keep up with projects. But in regards to the calendar, we can have the content in there as well as like the captions and everything approved and, ready to go and ready to be posted, for the week. So I would say that's the main tool. At one point, we went back and forth on using Planoly. And I think some of the content she might still actually schedule out to auto post.
Mhm.
But that's really it.
Okay. And is your page just you, or is it like is it yours and the team, or the team kind of has a separate page?
Yeah, so no, my page is just mine. So I have my Rashauna
Okay.
Scott page, which is again a mix of personal and business, and then I have my Flipping
Mhm.
and Hills page as well, which is all
Okay.
business, which is all business and real estate. And I'm actually going to be starting a team page. So it's actually funny that you asked that because again, just for that presence.
Mhm.
I made it a point to not have separate pages when I was growing my brand and starting from the beginning. I think a lot of
Okay.
people, that's one of the questions that comes up often. People are always like, do I have a separate business page and a separate personal page? And
Mhm.
I think, first of all, it depends, right? It depends on who you are, what type of business you're in. But
Mhm.
because we are in such a people business and a service based industry, people want to know who they're going to be meeting at the property for the first time. So when people meet me at a property for the first time, they already feel like they know me, right? Because they
Right.
they don't get just you know postings of so closed, just listed. Like, it's not, you don't come to my page and see a billboard. You come to my page and you see an actual real person that's actually doing life, living life, and um killing it in real estate.
Right. And I think that's people want to see, like, the real estate part is almost the stake, but your personal brand is kind of the sizzle that draws people to you when they're going on your page. I think a lot of realtors make the mistake, like you said, of putting buy, sold, buy, sold, buy, sold, buy, sold. People can go to Zillow for that. Or people can go to
Yeah.
Realtor for that if that's what they
Mhm.
wanted to do. But they really buy into you first and foremost. Um,
Mhm.
and then it's kind of like, oh, well, she does real estate too, so um connect with that person. um
Right.
the um the flipping in heels, is this just a brand, or is this something where you have like conferences, like flipping in heel conferences per se?
Yeah, so Flipping in Hills is both, all of the above. Flipping in Hills is a community for women
Okay.
real estate investors. And then within Flipping in Hills, I actually have a women's membership called Infinity. And so I do virtual summits. I actually do a women's summit every March once a year. So we just had our fifth annual Flipping in Hills virtual summit. And then we do in-person events as well. And then within Infinity, by that being a private membership, we have different Infinity events also.
Okay, so somebody goes, and all of your links will be in a description for people who are watching this, whether on YouTube or on the podcast. um, when I sign up for the membership group, um, I get the annual conference, but what else do I get? Are there weekly
Yeah.
meetings or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So we meet
Okay.
twice a month, and we have live virtual sessions. The women are from all across the country, and we may have a mix of different sessions. We may have some sessions that have experts on. So we're talking all things real estate, all things business.
Okay.
Or we may just have like a networking session where we're literally on and we're talking about what we got going on, what we're working on, what our deals, we're analyzing deals, we're talking about comps, numbers,
Mhm.
ARVs, we're pulling up the properties, and looking at things, and so it's really, I wanted to create a community, a sisterhood of like-minded women, and people where they felt like, they had support. And so again, we talk about like business credit, and we talk about marketing, we talk about,
Mhm.
like I said, the real estate is totally the focus, but then there's all things of business, surrounding that. So like we actually have a session coming up tomorrow on wills, estates, trust, and setting up
Okay.
things like that. And so obviously that also, correlates back to real estate, right? Like it's a topic that, we're always talking about how to buy and sell. But, now, another great topic is, how to protect, right?
Right.
So yeah.
It's important.
Hmm.
It's super important. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but can you give us one maybe super successful story that came out of your Infinity group where this person started at ABC and they got to X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, I got a couple. So one of my girls down in Atlanta, she started and finished her first flip during the pandemic.
Wow.
And she, had a nice profit there. I have another woman out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She actually owns her own brokerage, and
Wow.
she was trying to figure out like how to do flips, and we talked about raising private money, and so she used the exact same templates that were taught about in the group, and went and is absolutely killing it in regards to raising money, and now doing flips and development and all of that good stuff. There are a number of women who are doing wholesaling, like I said, flipping.
Right.
There's some agents. So definitely people are taking what's being learned and applying it, right? Because we hold each other accountable as well. Within the group, I encourage the women to find accountability partners, and a number of them have. And so within the group, they're like, hey, I checked in with my accountability partner this week, and this is what we talked about, or this is what we're working on, and that whole thing. So yeah, we definitely
Wow.
got some
That's
success
important.
stories.
That's important. It's super important. Um, Switching the subject back to social media, for your new hires, what advice do you give them concerning social media?
In regards to, you mean my agents?
Correct.
With the new
Advertising, but
hires?
just yeah, but just new agents, just in general. New agents watching this. What advice would you give them concerning using social media in order to increase their business?
Yeah, I think the thing is figuring out exactly who you want to work with first and foremost. So, I'm
Avatar.
attracting. Yep, yep. So I'm attracting investors, period. Like there's no question about it. I attract people who want to invest in real estate. And that might be the first time home buyer and first time investor, meaning they want a house hack, ultimately they want to buy multi-unit, or that might be the experienced investor, who's looking to flip or hold or whatever the case, or somebody that's looking to, hold, commercial multifamily, right? So I know that that is who, my ideal client is. And that's who I'm attracting. So anytime I'm intentionally creating content to put out, I'm creating content to speak directly towards them, in that language. And so, like I said, I put out a post about veterans. Well, that veteran post was talking about how to leverage your loan, your VA loan, at
Mhm.
0% down to get a 4 unit, right? And you can get a 4 unit for $1 million, like, and put nothing down, So
Right. Nice.
so people, we aren't talking about that enough. But again, once I did that, it was like, okay, yeah, so again, just I would say that figure out, if you want to do luxury, you need to be out here creating luxury content, right? And speaking directly
Mhm.
to either luxury buyers or luxury sellers, right? If you want to do like the whole investing space, or if you want to do first time home buyer, if you want to do single families, right? You should be out here educating people on all things single family, right? What to look at, what to
Mm.
look for, the values, what are the pros and cons, all of that. If you want to be the condo queen, you should be telling us about all things condos, right?
Mhm.
So that's really it, is figuring out exactly the type of client that you want to work with, and creating content speaking directly to them. I would say, come up with a number of things that help you post on social media. I feel like people wake up and they're like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna post on social media today, so they just don't
Mm.
post. But if you already have it mapped out to where you're like, okay, these are the different types of things that I know I want to share on my page, then you already have that to pull from. So, you might do and a real estate tip one day. You might want to do some real estate humor the next day. You might want to do a real estate quote the next day. You might want to do, an actual closing or a client the next day, right? So you have all of these different types of content that you can create and that you can put out. And then when you go to actually create the content, you already have these different topics of things. So it's not like, I don't know what I'm gonna post today. Well, just go
Right.
into that, go take a look at that and then create content based on that.
Yep. Map it out. Know who your avatar is. Know exactly who you're speaking to, so you can talk their language. And then after that, map it out. So as long as you have a map, you kind of know where you're going, as they
Hmm.
say. Um,
Yeah.
cool, cool. So as far as if you can give the real estate agents some hack, some type of action item that they can do as soon as they get off this podcast, they can go implement it. What type of social media hack do you have for us?
Um, so a hack, I mean, again, I would say, like I said, the content for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I would say that I'm trying to think a hack. Uh a hack. Hashtags, right? So um there are a number of clients that have found me through using hashtags, right? So I do ask like, hey, um are how did you find me? And they say, oh, I did, hashtag Chicago real estate. So
Okay.
use the hashtags, right? People sleep on using hashtags. Use the hashtags to grow your page. It just grows your visibility. The other
Right.
thing is, I would say try to create shareable content. So it's one thing when you're putting, content out, right? And it takes a lot of work into putting out content. But think about
Right.
what's something that you would share, right?
Mm.
What's something that what makes you hit the share button and send it to somebody, in the DMs, or just share it right on your actual on your in your stories, right? Because that will grow your reach and grow your engagement. The other thing too is that I would say engage. So when people comment and say, great, nice, great info, whatever, thank you, or heart it or whatever the case. So, so they know that, you're a real person, you're putting out content and you want to engage with people. So, I would say, those three hacks, or I guess you can say tips, like I said, utilize the hashtags, be intentional with the type of content and make sure like it's stuff that people, you would think people will want to share.
Right. Just to piggyback on that, if you do want somebody to share, what I've seen people do is they post on their screen somewhere, share and repost. So again, you're telling people exactly what to do. As far as the hashtags, I see hashtags is a way of telling the algorithm as far as okay, what people to send this to, because if
Hmm.
if if there's no hashtags, then they're just kind of lost and they're just kind of sending it to anybody. And the algorithms work from okay sending out to a small group of folks, and if those group folks like it, then they spread it more and more and more and more. And I kind of that's how you kind of go viral. So and what was the last thing that you said? I just had it in my mind.
um I said
You said the hashtags.
yeah, hashtags, sharing, and staying around and engaging in the comments.
Engaging,
Yeah.
right. If you engage with people, and they engage back, that's a way for again the algorithm to see that people are interacting with your content. So whether you can get people to comment, and a lot of times, I mean, I hate to say this, but is a lot of people love negativity. So
Uh-huh.
that is
Yeah.
something that's
Or
polarizing.
controversy, right?
Controversy. That's the word I was looking for. um, a controversy subject, you put that on, and that will get a lot of people to come to your page and just see your content. Do you
Mhm.
use anything special as far as hashtags, or are you just kind of, I want to say almost like local city hashtags, like you said, Chicago real estate, Chicago realtor, or
Yeah, I would say that that's about it. I think, um, I think it's the everything works and nothing doesn't, right? So just putting things out there and seeing what sticks, right? So more so like doing something and starting
Mhm.
with the local hashtags, I think. And then the other thing too is think about what hashtags would you use if you were searching for a realtor, right?
Mm, right,
Right?
right,
So I think that that is one of the things that people need to think about and consider, when they are, putting out content. Always go back to what would you do, right? How
right,
would you
right,
look at it? How would you think about it? What would make things stand out for you? Again, that comes out of, being relatable and, that whole piece, right? Because your words are coming through on social media. Like people can feel and see that, authenticity.
right. Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, I do want to look. I want to let you guys know that Rashana does have an investors course that will be coming
Yep.
out shortly. So
Yep.
maybe by the time this drops, maybe it will be alive, on and popping. So we will definitely have a hopefully we'll have some type of link for you guys to get some type of discount using the discount code social agent. But all that information will be in the description. So Rashonda, if you could just tell them where they can find you at on social media, and if you want to give your phone number out to other real estate agents if they have any referrals in the Chicago area.
Yeah, so you guys can definitely find me at Rashauna Scott on all things social media, or all social media channels, I should say, or the majority ones, right? So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm also at Flipping in the Heels. Thank you for mentioning the course. So the course is called the Investors Agent Course, and that is because I have, like you said, built my brand and my niche specific to people wanting to work with and, invest in real estate. And I feel like there's realtors out here who want to work with investors and attract investors, and they don't really know how, right? They don't know how to speak the investors' language. They don't know what a cap rate is, ROI, running numbers and things like that. All of that will definitely be in the course. But yeah, that's definitely how you can find me. Like I said, on social media, all of my links to contact me is there. So, my email address, or, you guys can inbox me or anything if you have any questions. Or you can always, click the link in my bio to schedule a call. But yes, so that is how you can find me, follow me, support, everything that I have going on. I do respond to DMs as well. Yeah, just say, you heard me, on the podcast. But yes, thank you so much for having me. This was great. I hope that, the agents who are listening was definitely able to get, some gems out of this. And I think the thing about social media too is not hard, right? It's not hard. It's not like this big puzzle that has to be figured out. I feel like people feel like sometimes they feel like they're trying to crack the code, and
Right.
there isn't one. Like I said, it really is a matter of putting out content, being intentional with your content, and just being consistent with it.
Awesome. Well, again, if you guys have any referrals in Chicago and Chicagoland, are these the same place or just different names, or
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
they're
yeah,
different
yeah.
names?
No, say
Okay.
definitely same place. Chicagoland
Okay.
area is because I mean Chicago is a big city, we're the third largest city in the nation. And so there's different parts of Chicago, right? Like it can totally take you, an hour and a half or so in traffic, to get
Oh
from one end
wow.
of the city to the other, maybe two, in
Okay.
traffic. Probably without traffic, maybe a good like hour, from one end of
Wow.
the city to the other. So Chicago is a big city, and that's on the expressway. Now taking the streets, that's a whole
Oh
nother beast,
wow.
right? But so Chicago is a big city, and there's so many different neighborhoods. in Chicago. Different neighborhoods, different price points, different ends of the spectrum, right? We have multi units, 2 units that you can pick up for, maybe, 150, $200,000, and then you got some, on the other end at, 2 million, right? So it really just depends.
Wow.
But yeah, Chicago and then Chicagoland, because we have surrounding, suburbs as well.
Okay.
But yes, all things Chicago real estate. I'm your girl.
All right, guys. Well, definitely dropped a lot of gems. Hope y'all had your pen and paper. And I will see you guys next time on a social media for real estate agents podcast.